In 1567, a man named Hans Steininger, who was the mayor of a town in Austria, died because of his beard. His beard was reportedly over 4.5 feet long, one of the longest ever recorded at the time. He was so proud of it that he usually kept it rolled up and stored in a pouch. One day there was a fire in the town. He was running to escape and forgot to roll up the beard. He tripped over it, fell down a flight of stairs and broke his neck. His beard, which had been his greatest source of pride, became the thing that killed him. Moving on. In ancient Greece, the playwright Aeschylus, considered one of the fathers of tragedy, died in what many historians describe as one of the most ironic deaths in recorded history. According to ancient accounts, an eagle was carrying a tortoise, and looking for a rock to drop it on to crack the shell, mistook Aeschylus's bald head for a stone. The tortoise was dropped directly onto his head and killed him instantly. Whether this story is completely accurate is debated by historians, but it has been recorded across multiple ancient sources and remains one of the most enduring bizarre death stories of the ancient world. In 1814, London experienced what is now known as the London Beer Flood. A massive vat at a brewery ruptured, triggering a chain reaction that released over 100,000 gallons of beer into the surrounding streets of St. Giles, a densely populated neighbourhood. The resulting flood of beer swept through basements and ground floors, killing 8 people who drowned in the surge. There was also a brief period where locals reportedly tried to collect the beer in pots and cups before authorities arrived, which tells you something about the priorities of 19th century London. In 1919, Boston experienced a similar disaster, except this time it wasn't beer. A massive storage tank containing over 2 million gallons of molasses suddenly exploded in the North End neighbourhood. A wave of molasses estimated to be 25 feet high and moving at 35 miles per hour swept through the streets. 21 people were killed and 150 were injured. Survivors reported that the molasses was so thick and moved so fast that there was almost no way to escape once it reached you. Buildings collapsed. Horses were trapped. The cleanup reportedly took weeks. Residents in the area claimed they could still smell molasses on hot summer days for decades afterward. Now let's talk about laughing, specifically dying from it. In 1975, a man named Alex Mitchell from Norfolk, England, was watching a comedy programme on British television. He found it so funny that he laughed continuously for 25 minutes before collapsing and dying from heart failure. His wife wrote to the producers of the show to thank them for giving her husband such a joyful final half hour. Doctors later determined he had an undiagnosed heart condition that made the sustained physical exertion of prolonged laughter fatal. It is considered one of the most well-documented cases of death by laughter in modern history. Staying with unusual causes, in 430 BC, the ancient Athenian statesman Chrysippus reportedly died laughing after watching a donkey try to eat figs. According to ancient accounts, he found the sight so funny that he called for wine, drank it, and laughed until he died. Multiple ancient writers recorded this story, suggesting it was widely believed even in antiquity, which means people have been finding donkeys funny for at least 2,500 years. In 1601, Tycho Brahe, one of the most important astronomers in history, whose observations helped form the foundation of modern astronomy, died in circumstances that most historians agree were significantly his own fault. Attending a royal banquet in Prague, Brahe apparently considered it a serious breach of social etiquette to leave the table before the host. He needed to use the bathroom urgently, but refused to leave out of politeness. He held on for so long that his bladder either ruptured or became severely damaged. He died 11 days later. A man whose observations helped change our understanding of the universe, undone entirely by politeness. Moving forward in time, in 1923, a jockey named Frank Hayes won a horse race at Belmont Park in New York. This would be completely unremarkable, except that Frank Hayes had died of a heart attack partway through the race. His body remained in the saddle and his horse, Sweet Kiss, crossed the finish line and won. Frank Hayes became the only jockey in recorded history to win a race after death. The horse apparently had no idea anything was wrong. In 1871, a lawyer named Clement Vallandigham was defending a client accused of murder. His argument was that the victim had actually accidentally shot himself. To demonstrate how this could have happened, Vallandigham produced the pistol from the evidence and showed the jury exactly how the victim might have positioned it. He accidentally fired it directly into himself in the courtroom. He died the following morning. His client was acquitted. In 1945, a Tennessee lawyer named Gary Hoy became an early example of a phenomenon that would eventually get its own award. He was demonstrating to a group of law students that the windows of his office were unbreakable. He threw himself against one to prove his point. The window frame gave way. He fell through and died. He won a Darwin Award posthumously, a satirical prize given to people who remove themselves from the gene pool in spectacularly avoidable ways. Now let's talk about something that sounds like a cartoon but actually happened. In 1884, a bridge in Ohio collapsed while a circus elephant was crossing it. This story alone is not remarkable. The remarkable part is that this exact type of incident involving circus elephants and bridges happened often enough in 19th century America that it became a genuine engineering concern, leading to changes in bridge design standards. Multiple elephants, multiple bridges, multiple collapses. History doesn't always make sense. In ancient Rome, the Emperor Claudius was reportedly killed by a feather, not used as a weapon in any dramatic sense. His physician reportedly used a feather dipped in poison to tickle the back of his throat under the guise of helping him vomit after overindulging at a feast. The poison did its work. He died later that night. It remains one of history's more undignified assassinations. Let's end with one that is equal parts strange and touching. In 270 BC, the poet Philetus of Kos, considered one of the most important scholars of ancient Alexandria, reportedly died from insomnia and obsession. He was so consumed by studying a logical paradox, specifically a version of the famous liar's paradox, that he stopped sleeping, stopped eating properly, and wasted away entirely. His own tombstone reportedly read that he was killed by all styles of fallacies, as a tribute to the intellectual obsession that consumed him. He is believed to be one of the only people in recorded history to have died specifically from thinking too hard about a philosophical problem. Death, it turns out, doesn't always arrive the way you'd expect. Sometimes it trips over a beard, sometimes it comes in as a wave of molasses. Sometimes it finds you in the middle of a laugh you didn't know would be your last.